Well, this long college football season is winding down. We are in the final stages. Hi, everyone. Al DeMarco here. First of all, Happy New Year's to you all. I hope it's a healthy, prosperous, and may we say a profitable 2025 for you as well. Listen, I've got a complimentary play coming up for you on the Fiesta Bowl clash between Penn State and Boise State that goes at 7:30 Eastern Time. Let me remind you that I am on a 17 and 5 roll here with the comp plays, NFL, NBA, and college football that I've been giving away, the best of the worst, as I like to say, over the last 3 weeks. Now, my best bet today, even though I've gone with Penn State in their SMU game and went against Penn State in their prior game against Oregon, nope, that's not the best bet on today's card. For me, football winner number 27 out of 38, college and pro combined, is top rated 15 dime winner number 18 out of 24. It is your afternoon game, the Texas Bowl clash being played in Houston between Baylor and LSU. It goes at 3:30 Eastern Time and is once again the half price play of the day. As I go for winning day number 29 out of 45 long term and number 10 out of 13 short term, and it matches last night's 15 dime winner on the Lions, and of course that two-team teaser I gave away to you for free, which was also a 15 dime play on Sunday, which was of course Buffalo and Tampa Bay. And again, it's the half price play of the day using coupon code HALF, HALF. May I also point out to you that on Saturday I had that rare 30 dime release with Colorado against BYU, and it was a loser after winning 3 in a row and 5 of my last 6 with those rare 30 dime plays, of which I've only had 39 in college football in the 23 years since I created DeMarcoSports.com. And inevitably, after losing that play, the comments came in. Oh, Al, you killed me. I lost my ass on this play. My bankroll was shot to hell. What was a couple of the other ones? I don't know what I'm going to do. Colorado destroyed me today. And then those are only ones that I can say without the profanity. And I'm like, are you effing serious? Like, first of all, I don't give a damn. Those comments, I get a laugh out of them because did I not put in the sales pitch mentioning what I had going that day, that warning you that if you had been along for the ride and I just gave you what the winning rolls were, that we were just taking a small bit of that overwhelming profit from this football season and adding to a normal wager. But if you had just jumped on the bandwagon, that you had to play within your means, because that's what bankroll allocation is all about. But those words just all were for naught. So what did I do? I lost 33 dimes on that play, right? It's a 30 dime play. Add the vig, it's 33 dimes. Now, whatever a dime is in terms of your money management, that's the amount of your wager. And then I gave you a 15 dime winner for free on the teaser. Then I came back with the 15 dime winner last night of the Lions. So where are we at after those 2 days, after that devastating loss where people lost their asses, which I just bankrupted them forever? You're minus 3 dimes. And as I've said before, gambling is like golf. You have a bad shot, you have a bad hole, you got to scramble to get back to par. And that is what I have done consistently my whole career. There are guys at this, not at my site, well, maybe there's a couple of guys at this site, but there are guys in this business, and maybe at this site, who are peak and valley handicappers. They'll win 2 or 3 days and they'll lose 7 or 8 in a row. They'll hit one big play and then they'll lose their next 7. Those guys will bankrupt you repeatedly. I don't play those games. And I talk about losers more than I talk about winners. That's the reality. By the way, just an FYI, I was just thinking here, because I'm always thinking as I'm doing these video reports about other things. I have to be honest with you. Here we are going into 2025. And when I was on the verge and still creating these sites all those years ago, Y2K, everybody was so worried. We were transitioning out of the 900 telephone business. I was in the early stages of creating these sites and we were testing them and putting them up. And I'll never forget, we had a programmer, one in Costa Rica, And another one here at the time in Pennsylvania, everybody was monitoring the sites because remember Y2K? We were all worried that all hell was going to break loose and that the whole computerized world was going to collapse. I'm still waiting 24 and a half years later. Okay, let's get to this complimentary play. Let's talk about the Penn State game. Penn State, of course, is a double-digit favorite minus the 11 points. And as I mentioned to you earlier, I was on Penn State against SMU. I was against Penn State when they played Oregon. I am on Penn State again here tonight. I'll tell you what, if this was SMU tonight in the dome, because the roof will be closed in Arizona, on a fast field as opposed to natural grass, I think SMU would give Penn State a better battle tonight. It's not that Boise State is a bad team. The Broncos are good. But let's remember, this is a G5 team from the Mountain West Conference. And everybody will say, oh, but they played Oregon so tough. They only lost by 3 points. The Oregon team you saw in September is not the Oregon team that you are now seeing. This is a better Oregon team, one that has matured and is playing much better. Boise State got them early in the season. I look at this team, Boise, and yeah, okay, they've got the great running back, and he's going to get his, I don't know, maybe 150 yards tonight. And that's okay. Although I do doubt that, but I think that what everybody forgets when they analyze this game is that Penn State is going to pound the rock. And they are going to be successful running the ball here tonight because what has changed the Penn State offense in the final month of the season is that both the running backs, Allen and Singleton, are healthy. And you saw what happened in both the Big Ten championship game, which was, of course was played indoors at Lucas Oil Field in Indianapolis, and then of course the outdoor game in the frigid, windy, cold conditions in Happy Valley. Not so happy for SMU, right? You saw that those two guys just were magnificent and could not be stopped. And Penn State was able to control the clock. Well, Allen has rushed for 892 yards, 4.8 yards per carry this season. Singleton has rushed for 928 yards and 6.4 yards per carry this season. They have each scored 8 touchdowns. I look at what they did against Oregon. 229 combined yards, nearly 10 yards per carry against a very good, fast, athletic Oregon defense. Then against SMU, 297 yards and nearly 9 yards per carry combined. Think of that production tonight on a fast field. Now, the Penn State quarterback, Drew Aller, good season, right? Almost 69% completions, a little over 3,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He was only sacked 14 times. A lot of folks will say, well, Boise State has a tremendous pass rush. Yeah, you're not playing Portland State, UNLV, and the Little Sisters of the Poor out of the Mountain West Conference this year, okay? And when you look at his numbers, he has played 3 games indoors in his career. And in those games, 813 yards, an average of 271 yards, and 7 touchdowns. In his career, his passing yardage on average is 209. The indoors certainly has worked. And Aller, again, only 14 sacks this season, even though he's thrown the ball 340 times. Outstanding offensive line protection for him. And among quarterbacks who have had at least 100 pressured dropbacks this season, he is 14th in yards per attempt. He is 24th in completion percentage and 13th in the nation in pressure to sacks ratio. And according to Pro Football Focus, and I look at a number of different sites in terms of their statistical analysis because it really helps when you're handicapping games. But according to PFF, he is number 1 in terms of big time throw rate at 9.9%, which means he's got time in the pocket. When he is feeling pressure, he's able to get the ball out, and he has a high percentage rate for high number of yards per completion. That is impressive. So Boise State may get some pressure on him, but I think Penn State, because they have a diversified attack and will be able to run the ball, and I think they'll be able to put the points here on the board against Boise. In fact, I can see this being like a 34-17 game. Have I not criticized James Franklin for his inability to win big games? Oh my God, if you're a regular follower, you should have known that by now. And that's one of the reasons I went against them at the Big Ten championship game and backed Oregon. But this is Boise State. This isn't Oregon. And that's why I love Penn State at home against SMU, because I thought the Mustangs were overmatched. And I think Boise State is going to be overmatched here as well. I look at this defense that Boise State is going to play tonight, and Penn State's defense is the best they have faced all season. 38 sacks. Abdul Carter is a beast on that defensive line. 11 and a half sackles, 11 and a half sacks, I think 20 or 17 and a half. Actually, let me just get you the exact numbers if I have them here somewhere in some notes I wrote down in terms of tackles for loss. I mean, he's had a hell of a season. Hey, who the hell cares? Doesn't even matter. He's damn good. He's going to be a first round draft pick. Bottom line, probably going to be a top 10 draft pick anyway. But I think that the ability for Penn State to maybe contain Genty, maybe hold him to 150 yards or less, which would be an overwhelming accomplishment, right? But more importantly, to put the pressure on Boise's quarterback, because you're not going to let him beat you. And I think that's why they're going to win. Like I said, 34-17, I can see that, maybe 31-13. But again, this 11-point number, don't be scared of laying that number. You saw how one-sided the last set of playoff games were. I think you go with Penn State here because, again, at the end of the day, this is a Big Ten team taking on a G5 team from the Mountain West Conference, and there is no doubt who has more talent. Again, it's a complimentary play, but that's my favorite one on today's card. The other games I really couldn't give a damn about because, again, as I said, my best bet happens to be the Houston Bowl. So Houston Bowl, the Texas Bowl. Hey, it's in Houston. Why aren't they call it? Didn't they used to call this the Houston Blue Bonnet Bowl years ago, maybe? Just a thought. Anyway, good luck to you guys, and we'll talk to you again soon.